Before I begin my lesson, I want to make sure that everyone has had an opportunity to write on your papers and complete them. One, sharing what you've learned, and two, asking a question. And I'm going to ask Rebecca to start some piano music by Carolyn Floyd to give us a few minutes to write your part of the lesson, right? So if you don't have a piece of paper, Rebecca has that. If you need a pen, did y'all get paper? There's still some people who don't have them, but go ahead and start the music, Rebecca. And then it'll give you a chance to think about what you want to say and as a part of the lesson. And if you're online again, please submit a question in the comments and share something you've learned, or you can also text it to the center's phone number, 813-384-8162. And Rebecca can share those for you too. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes. What have you learned, and what do you wish you knew? Seen more clearly in the past year? Is there something about this philosophy that mystifies you? Or something we say around here that you're like, I wish I could ask a question? What would that question be? So, 6 years ago, I stood for the first time in front of a group of people here in Tampa. And that group of people had really stuck together in determination to keep this community here. There have been a few transitional years, and this group was determined that CSL TB would survive the transition of two ministers, and that someone like me would show up and be the new minister. And I did. So for those of you who don't know, I had been an assistant minister up in Atlanta at a very large center for a couple of years. And when this pulpit opened, is what they say, the pulpit opened, I thought, you know what, I'm living down here anyway. I'm close enough. Why not bring my gifts here? And so how many of you were in that little back room in Blind Tiger in Ybor City on that my first Sunday that was a mess? A couple of people. There's some people back in the sound booth too that were there that particular Sunday. It was a mess. And if you want to know all about that mess, see one of those people that raised their hand, right? Or I can tell it too. But so I was so eager that morning. I was so eager. I was quite nervous, quite frankly, but I was eager and I was determined that I would keep this community together. We would somehow stay together. And I was also determined to teach the science of mind, the philosophy of Ernest Holmes, the best I could. And to the best of my ability, I wanted to help us grow in every way. Personally, I wanted to help people grow. I wanted to grow myself. I wanted the community to grow too. Mostly I wanted to grow the center, right? So, and here we are. We're 6 years later, and we're financially stable in every way. And we have close to 100 people that come through our services, our classes, our activities, online, in person, that are just hovering around this spiritual community. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of all of you. And we've continued to be a source of light and a positive message and fellowship and activities and love in Tampa for now. We're, as a center, I think we're almost 13 years old, but I've been here 6 of those years. And I've learned a lot during those 6 years. I've learned a lot. I could talk about what I've learned all day long. So I'm just, for time's sake, going to focus on just this year, right? This 6th year, what have I learned in this 6th year here and my 9th year in ministry overall? So here's what I believe. I believe that all life experiences are drawn to us and are perfect for our growth and development. I believe that with my whole heart. And some things are really easy to learn, and some things come through hard lessons, trial and error, gratitude and forgiveness. You know, those are the things that help us learn. And our souls love a challenge, don't they? They just sign up for some of the toughest, high-level, master's degree level courses, don't they? Right? But we know that our souls are on a quest to find greatness, to find greater love, to find greater power, deeper joy, more abundance, and all the other qualities of God. What God is, we are. Susan talked about that so beautifully in her prayer this morning. God is love, I am love. God is peace, I am peace. So all those qualities of God, what God is, we are. We just don't know it yet, or at least not consistently, right? And our lives are happening the way they are happening to show us what we still haven't figured out about that truth, right? And so we communicate, our souls will actually communicate with the divine energy that I call God, or with spirit. Our souls do that, and we do it as on the human level by setting an intention. We can set an intention about how we consciously know we would like to grow and experience greater God qualities of any sort. We can ask for what we want to break free of or experience more of. That's part of our co-creative process. And one of the ways that we set an intention here in this community is through what we call our White Stone ceremony. And this happens on the first Sunday in January, first Sunday of the year. And in that ceremony, we meditate and we intuit a word for the year. And for me, it is always a word that I want to deepen my experience of in the months ahead, in the year ahead. So just a hint, don't miss that particular service in January. I think it's on the 7th this year. It's when we'll do the White Stone and you'll have your word for the year. So anyway, I had a very interesting White Stone experience this year. And I told this story several months ago, but if you missed it, here's what happened. So when we do this service, how many of you were here in January, or have been here at least for one of them? So you know what I'm talking about. Good, so some people know. So what we do is we have a ceremony and a ritual where we meditate and we intuit a word, and we're getting to the end of the ceremony this January, and I suddenly realized that I hadn't even thought about my own word. Like I was so busy getting the whole thing going, hadn't thought about my own White Stone word, and I remembered that at the end of it all, we were going to pass a microphone so that everybody had the power of speaking their word into the room and also hearing everyone else's word. It's a wonderful, lovely practice, but I hadn't written anything on my stone. So while everyone was making a circle and we were getting ready to do that, I quickly turned within and I received my word and I wrote it down, ease, E-A-S-E, ease. It just popped into my consciousness just like spontaneously. So I wrote it down because I really didn't have time to think about it. And much to my shock, as the microphone went around the room, it got to my wife Terry, and she said her word was ease. Ease. I was floored. I was truly floored. Susan Gerken actually saw my face, and she's like, why did you make that face when Terry said her word? And I'm like, because it was the same word as mine. Both of us had invited this very big God quality into our lives together. Ease. What did I mean by ease? I wanted Spirit to reveal to me a path to ease. And any human ego obstacles that I had allowed to get in the way of ease in my life, I wanted those revealed to me too. Should have been super easy, right? Well, what a year it has been. And I've learned 3 big things about ease that I want to share this morning, especially if you want greater ease in your life too. How many of you wish that was your White Stone word right now, right? Ease, right? So first, I have learned that ease comes through relationships with other people. Makes sense, doesn't it, right? But guess what blocks relationships from providing ease in our lives? So many things I have found. So the ones that were getting in my way were the need to control the outcome, the desire for perfection that somehow I only had the ability to deliver, fear that I'm not enough, and fear that everyone would think something about me if I asked for help, right? The need to control the narrative, what everybody was saying, what people were saying. Wow. If I could give up my need for control and perfection, my relationships could bring greater ease into my life. So this has been shifting in my personal life and here at the center. People have literally shown up this year to make my life easier. And I've had to practice making the phone call to those people and saying, hey, could you look at this? Could you take care of this? Might you have some advice on this or that? Releasing my control and allowing them to show up with their own expertise, their own ability to help, their unique leadership and style, their skills, their willingness, their expertise. If I could just open myself to it, these relationships would actually make my life easier. So in my personal life, these people have taken the form of professionals having a greater impact on making my experiences easier. They've made all aspects of my life easier. Logistically, financially, socially, spiritually, physically, more ease. And here at the center, several key relationships have made my ministry easier this year. Rebecca showed up with her vast skill set to make the administrative details of this center easier. I see you, Rebecca. Reverend Dieter showed up to make my taking time off easier. For those of you who haven't been around here, we hired an assistant minister in March, and oh wow, I had more freedom because I knew that y'all were all taken care of and we're going to get a phenomenal lesson if I wasn't here. Yay, Reverend Dieter. The social committee was spontaneously formed. I didn't even ask them to form. They formed themselves, and they started hosting activities of fun and connection beyond Sundays, relieving me of the need to lead all of that. Yay, committee. The practitioners played bigger roles this year than ever before in dynamic ways, allowing me to step back more and be a participant. If you were part of our summer, you know that was the case. The sound and media team, I'm looking at y'all back there, they took over up-leveling our services and online presence, allowing me to focus on my stuff, my lessons, my role as a minister. Yay, them. The board made decisions this year that have made my ministry easier too. Just look around and look in the mirror, and you're going to see many people who showed up this year to make things easier at CSL TB, and I am grateful. Ease through relationships. Try it. The second thing I learned about ease this year is the word magic. So through the Summer of Soul Magic, we dove into two books, Big Magic and Magic of the Soul. Big Magic is by Elizabeth Gilbert. Magic of the Soul is by Patrick Harbula. And through those classes, both in person and online, and activities that we did that unfolded over those 3 months, I deepened my connection to my soul as the creative force in my life. That's what that magic of Summer Soul Magic was about. You know, this is not a new concept for me, y'all. I have been studying about my co-creation, my personal power for more than 20 years, and I've been teaching it to you for more than 10 years. But somehow, this summer, with the help of Reverend Dieter, the practitioners, and Reverend Patrick Harbula, magic in my soul gave my life more ease and fulfillment. And tuning into what gives me joy, which is what it was all about, leads me on a soul-driven path that simply flows with greater ease. I hope you all got that this summer too. It was amazing, amazing ease through the magic of your soul. And the third thing I learned about ease this year centers around the word surrender. Surrender. I saw Susan take a big deep breath. Susan gave a whole lesson on surrender last week. And if you missed that, please go back and look at that lesson. It was an amazing lesson. She talked about surrendering when someone else is driving. You know, instead of that white knuckle thing you do over there on your side to just surrender and let them drive. And this year I realized that when I let my spirit or my soul drive my life, it's a pretty damn good driver. It really is. Like, I don't really have to micromanage everything happening in my life. It drives. And in the current class, this is how it's worded. High investment, low attachment. Meaning I have learned what I desire with high investment. Then I release my attachment as to how it happens and when it happens and let let it unfold. Surrender. When I made a decision to co-create something or change something or heal something, I got to get highly invested in it. That means I got to focus on it. I got to learn about it. I got to feel the emotional quality of that thing that I want. I must get specific about what I do want to experience and feel, and then surrender and wait in faith with whatever shows up that calls me or appeals to me or sparks my interest or my joy or my energy, and move toward that. Move toward that. I let my soul choose each day, each step. That's how I surrender. And when I do that, and I don't do it consistently because none of us do, but when I do that, life is easier. Now, you might think that little fancy talk I just gave, that my life has been like a walk in the park during this year of learning about ease, right? Well, if you know what I've been up to and what I've been doing, you know that's not the whole picture. Lots of change has been unfolding this year, but with a practice of surrendering the how and the timing to my spirit, that change that's unfolding unfolds with greater ease. With this fresher connection to the magic of my soul, I have found easier paths to take. And with my new level of allowing relationships to deepen into greater intensity and help, the changes have been easier than I could have imagined. I'm not going to speak for Terry, but I know it's been quite a year for her too. So my deepest gratitude to her for writing that word down as well, but also gratitude to every one of you who have walked in this path with me this year. And I'm dying to see what you have learned. So I'm ready to answer questions and hear what you have learned. So Rebecca, let's do this. Let's gather these peach pieces of paper. If you want to pass them forward or pass them to her, we are going to do my favorite lesson of the year. And I'll take them with it, doesn't matter. Want to gather them on your side, George? Awesome. It's going to be fun. That's okay. I'll figure them out as we go. Got some more coming? Thanks, George. George is here because there's food. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm going to give you heck for that forever, right? Okay, so we'll just go these as we go along, and I want to share what people have learned in this community. So I'll try to read them fast. And this is so the first question is, what have you learned about yourself or about spirit as on your journey this year? And this person wrote, I'm extremely blessed. The people and support that I receive here reminds me of that and so much more. This person wrote, how much I have as a person, a family, mother, girlfriend, how to look for the good in each person. I can focus more on the journey and less on the destination. Oh, that's a good one. Let me read that one again. I can focus more on the journey and less on the destination. Everything is an illusion, and we can manage our hologram by focusing on something that you desire and also sitting with uncomfortable feeling until they subside. That's a good one too. That spirit truly guides me, and if I listen, I am never led astray. This person learned balance is the foundation. Please let me, y'all's handwriting is so fun. I'm learning to read handwriting. Okay, balance is the foundation. Be prepared for life seasons to change consistently. Hit the ground running and you can take advantage of the best times. Nice. There is love here. I am powerful. I choose my own path. This person learned, I'm not too old to learn new ways of thinking and new ways of being. We all need to remember that, right? This one said, I'm okay. It's okay. this teaching works. Confidence was my word, and I have used it to step out and make change in my life. This community is for me. Nice. Spirit shows up in life in ways that are unexpected, but not always welcome. This person learned that change isn't a bad thing. Can we all learn that one? That would be good. There was no learning there. This year on my journey, I've learned more about the importance of letting myself rest. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Having fun together builds community. That's a good one. It's too easy to forget about the spiritual path amongst all the noise of life. That's the truth. This person learned to meditate, freedom from the past. Nice. Spirit is my constant companion. I am able to know this more each day. Beautiful. I've come a long way. I have a long way to go. I need to continue to be grateful. That's lovely. I don't have to compete to be the best, to win, because there is enough for everyone. Today, I joyfully celebrate the good fortune of others. Wow, that's a big one. That's really big. There is no competition. I've learned to love this community this year and the music. Sorry, y'all are new. Come back. The music is awesome. Today was just different. It's just different. This person learned I am a co-creator. I belong and I consciously choose joy. Nice. This person learned to be more open, refrain from judging situations, but always with caution. And lastly, this person said, I am letting go more and more often, releasing the need to control everything. Me too. Me too. Oh, so see? Stick around. There's lots to learn here. If you all learn all of that, then we're on the right path, guys. We really are. So now questions. This is going to be the fun part. Hang on, let me get a sip of water. There's no question. There's no question on this first one. Why is there so much evil in the world? And then they wrote mass shooting. Okay. What? Let's just go for the big question right off the bat. In our philosophy, we do not believe that there is evil in the world. We believe that every human being is given life energy to do with what they will. So there is no force of evil. There's nothing making any of that happen. It's just that hurt people hurt people. And when we are hurt, we use our energy in destructive ways. So it's just simply using the force of life, not for good. And we all have that choice. We all have that freedom. Thankfully, most of us have healed to the point that we're not doing that. But there are obviously people in the world who are still on the path of lots of pain and lots of destruction. You know, they're not only destroying themselves, they make the decision to destroy others at the same time. So I don't know if that helped, but it's just about, and then our job is to know the highest and best and know the love for everyone, realizing that that person was in a tremendous amount of mental, physical anguish, all of that going on in that person's life. And we don't want those things to happen. We don't want the hard things to happen in life. But having a spiritual path, having faith, understanding your connection to your soul is a very, very good thing. It's a very empowering thing. It gives us something to turn to when these hard things happen in life, and they're going to happen until we as a human race say no more. No more. And we haven't said that yet. We haven't said that. I hope that was helpful. What is your perspective on the process of aging, death, and dying. Great. Wow, we're just going for the big one. So here's what I believe. What I believe is that our spiritual selves put on a magic suit. You've been around here long enough, you know I talk about the magic suit. That we move into a magic suit to have these experiences on the human plane. All form, any energy comes together to create forms. All form is temporary. All human bodies are temporary. We know this. This is not new news. So what I believe is that every experience of being in the human body is valuable to the soul. And that the end of our life is just as important to our souls as any other part of our life. And there are lots of different ways to go through the end of life. Some people die very quickly, all at one time, no chance to say goodbye. It's just done. We're done. We exit the human body and we're done. Others have a long, prolonged experience of the end of life, and it is an opportunity for us to gain more wisdom, for us to give our gifts, to continue to express love and receive love through the end of our life. And so we're all dying right now. We're all in the process of dying right now. We don't know when it will be our turn to let go of our human form. But what Ernest Holmes says, and what I believe, is when another form is needed for our soul's expression, we will be given one. So that's what I believe. And I'm answering these questions from my own belief system, but that is what I believe. And we can talk more about that. But one thing I will encourage you to do is let go of the idea that death is a bad thing. Let go of it. Let go of that idea that death is a bad thing. Death is a part of life. It's natural. It's just the same as being born. It's energy coming into form and energy leaving form. And if you can suspend the idea that death is a bad thing, then all these other things that you think are bad or evil or whatever that involve other people dying will have less of a grip on you and have less fear in your life. Death is not a horrible thing. It's a part of life. And there are many, many, many ways to exit the human body. Hopefully. No question on this one. I like those. How do you act as an abundant spiritual being when reality in quotes, doesn't appear abundant in the normal definition of abundance? Okay? So, abundance is simply a spiritual truth. If we look for truth as how nature displays it, that is our closest view of God, of spirit, of pure creative energy is nature itself. And when you look at nature, you realize that infinite abundance is just part of it. Think of the number of blades of grass, and the number of grains of sand, and the different stars, and all of that. Abundance is just a natural way of being. So abundance for ourselves in our own lives is about being in the flow of energy. Okay? High level lesson. If you want to feel abundant, find ways that you already are abundant and celebrate them. Flow means that I am not the source of things that come through my life, nor am I the repository of them. Everything flows through me. Energy flows through me, and then I give my energy away. Money flows into my life, and I send it back out in ways that I appreciate. Physical energy, my physical energy flows into me each day, and I decide how I spend it. I can declare myself as weary and tired and exhausted, and guess what? That's how I'm going to feel. And that's what I'm going to experience throughout that day. If I say I don't have enough, I lack, there's never enough, I'm poor, I'm broke, whatever the words are, that is going to be your experience throughout the day. So in order for you to reset that calibration in your life, you have to change your thinking and then change your alignment with the flow and realize that flow is always coming into your life. Yeah, if somebody wants to talk more about that, I'm happy to talk more about that. We're doing all right with time. Remind everyone how failure is important to success. Without failure, success wouldn't exist. You just did. So life is not about perfection. Let me say that again. I'm saying it to myself, y'all just get to listen. Life is not about perfection. Life is about experience. If you're not running into failure or things not working out, you're not trying enough things, right? You're sticking with the tried and true, the safe and secure, and that's just what you're going to have. You're going to have status quo. But if you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want to try new things, have a different experience of life, you've got to go out there and try stuff. And, you know, if you want to start roller skating, you're going to fall. You're going to fall quite a few times, unless you're just like a brilliant, magnificent roller skater. You know, you're going to fall. But it's only through falling that you learn about balance. You learn about the wheels and gravity and all that stuff. And then through that, you learn and you grow and you get better at it. Well, roller skating is just something we all did when we were kids, and we learned how to do that. Everything else we're learning too about life is about trying it. Try to be more kind, see what happens. Try to be more generous, see what happens. See how it works. I don't know. That's my thought on that one. Some people just don't have questions. Do you ever get stuck or doubt? Hell yes. Yes. Yeah. All the time. Yeah. Yeah, something will happen and I will doubt and I'll be like, I don't know how this is going to work out. People who've been my prayer partners and practitioners in the room going, yeah, Laine gets stuck. Yeah, because life happens and I'm human too. And I have a lot of tools to reach for in my spiritual toolbox. I have books to read. I have prayer partners. I have y'all to talk to about. I have reminders. I have spiritual practices that I do. But yeah, you have doubt. Yeah. Sometimes when I get doubtful and dark and scared and all the things that we all feel, I don't sit in it. I reach for something. Karen Drucker's morning prayer is something, if I'm feeling off, I put that on. I surrender to my greatest, highest good. That's just that mantra, the reminder. So, but I always reach for things. But yes, I doubt. Yes, I get stuck. A lot. What is a way to get good guidance on growth? Take classes, listen, take notice of people who feel the way you want to feel. Their energy feels similar to how you want, what you desire, because Spirit's going to show you possibility for yourself. Pay attention. How does this person live? What are they doing? What are their practices? Pay attention. I'll give you an example. When I was traveling for work all the time, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to be healthier in my body. And I started paying attention on airplanes, because I was on airplanes 2 or 3 times a week. What did the healthy people on the plane get for snacks? Like, what were they, literally, like, how are they living? And guess what? Healthy people got water and nuts. Protein and water. And it's like, so I was paying attention to what other people were doing that were kind of ahead of me on the path. So that's one way, but also research. Ask others. Open yourself up vulnerably to ask for information about how you want to grow. Great question. What has been a difficult thing to overcome on your journey with this philosophy, and what awareness came out of it for you? Probably the most difficult thing is letting go of good enough and reaching for really my dreams, really what my soul really wanted. Because I think it's good enough is the enemy of the best. It's like you settle to not settle, to realize that life really can be the way you deepest desire it to be, and to continue to grow and change and allow change to happen. That's what I would say, is allowing myself to grow and have change. Change is not bad, right? What is the difference between a self-help group and CSL TV? It would really depend on what the self-help group is you're talking about. But what I can better speak to, what do we offer here? Like, why come here? What is this place? What we are is a center that, number one, teaches science of mind, teaches this philosophy that has changed the lives of millions of people over the 100 years it's been in existence. This way of looking at life in a way that is positive, that is grounded in spirituality and spiritual truth. And we provide a community where people can come together and hear lessons about that. We teach classes so you can look at your own life, like what's going on in your life on different subjects. And we almost always have a class going on, so that's what we offer too. And we also offer social engagements that are positive, that you can come to anything here and know that people are going to be happy. There's going to be some kind of food, usually, because there are food people, and that there's a focus here on spiritual growth. That's what we're here for. Even if we're doing something social, there's an underlying foundation of spiritual growth and expansion of your life. Hopefully that helps. How do you know this was your journey, and what was, hold please. How did you know this was your journey, and what was your background before this? Okay, now I got it. So I was raised in fundamental Christianity, and when I got away from my parents and my life and all of that, I wanted nothing to do with God, nothing to do with God. God was a joke in my life. It was just like a punchline or something. It just wasn't a part of my life at all. And in 1995, my daughter was born with special needs, and I had a very pivotal experience in her hospital room where she was dying, and we were planning her memorial. And people came into the room, person after person of different faiths, just because I had a very varied friend group. And they were laying things on her bed and stuff and praying for her, because really we thought she would die that night. And she didn't. And I realized that something bigger was going on, but I didn't know what. I didn't have any word for it. And about that same time, Oprah Winfrey started her spiritual twist on her show, and she started having spiritual teachers like Marianne Williamson, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, those kinds of people on her show. And I was an Oprah fanatic, watched every single show, and I started reading their books. I started reading the books of all of these spiritual teachers. There are many, there's a whole library of them out there. And I didn't know there was a place we could come learn this together. All I knew of church was church. I didn't know about this. So when I moved to Seattle, I heard about this Center for Spiritual Living, and I went there, and I never stopped going. And one of the things that had me stay was that all the flags of the major religions were hanging in the sanctuary, and that's why we have a quilt there that has all the religious symbols, because we believe that all paths to God are valid. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Everybody finds their own way to interact with the divine in whatever way that works for them. And so that's why I stayed. It gives me chills just to talk about that, because it's so important for me that nobody was wrong. Because in fundamentalist Christianity, we were right, everybody was wrong, and that just didn't work for me. It didn't make sense to me. So we can talk more about that. Whoever wrote that and want to know more, I can certainly share more of my path. I would love to continue the walk along this path. What is the next path? I don't really understand the question quite. What is next is whatever's next for you. What I always say to people is stay here with us as long as you're being fed here, as long as coming here gives you joy, as long as you look forward to seeing all these crazy people in the room, right? And when it doesn't fit you any longer, find your next path. This is I hope you stay forever, as long as I stay. I hope all of you are here. But I also know that my job is to love who shows up, love who is here, and know that sometimes this is a pass-through place where people go and find their next thing. So I would have to ask you what you're looking for, and then maybe I could point you in the right direction if this is not where you want to be, if that makes sense. What changes are you thinking are in your future in the next year? Well, here at the center, I think that we are going to shift our online experience. We're going to change up the service in 2024 because we're going to reduce the amount we put online every Sunday morning and keep it just pretty much the lesson and not all the other elements of the service, because here's what I'm learning is that most churches who put things online don't put music online unless it's professionally sound quality, all that stuff. And so we like what we have here, but it's hard to translate online how it feels here. So we're going to shift some things up there, and the sound team is working on those ideas. Reverend Dieter and I are putting our heads together about that too. For me personally, so there's some changes happening here. For me personally, Terry and I are in the process of remodeling an older home in Sarasota. So we live now in Parrish. We drive almost an hour to get here anyway, so it's only like 5 minutes further to go to Parrish from Sarasota. So we're renovating a new home, an old home actually, and working on that. And we're going to sell our house in Parrish and just kind of create a new stage for the next part of our life. Terry just retired in September, so we're like, we want to be in the right place for her retirement. Parrish has nothing. There's nothing in Parrish, so like no restaurants, no nothing. Freedom House. Quite true. Suggestion on how to balance knowing all is good when war and hate can exist. So, going back to my question about evil. War and hate are a human experience that we believe in as a human race, period. We believe there are still a great number of people, not all of us obviously, but there's a great number of people who believe that solving a conflict is best solved through killing other people, period. That is just the way that a percentage of the population of the world believes, period. What we have to do is focus on what we believe, have peace in our hearts, have peace in our lives, and realize that the human race is evolving. It is evolving. It is growing and learning. And I can give examples of things just think about things that human beings in barbaric days used to do and think were fine, that we no longer tolerate as a human race. Someday, probably not in our lifetimes, someday, peace will be the way that people solve conflicts. And we have sparks of that, don't we? We have sparks of it. We have places where that exists and places where it doesn't exist. And we just have to keep on our path, keep knowing peace in our lives and enjoy the peace in our lives and realize that other people are living out their soul's journey, whatever that looks like. And it's okay for them. It doesn't have to necessarily be okay for you. Helpful? I don't know. But that's what I would say. It's all good because one lifetime is just a snap in the span of eternity, and that we are constantly growing as a human race. Not sure. I'm a go with the flow girl. Been a teacher of kids myself, so there's no questions on that one. In a few sentences, please share what we teach here. Great question. See, go back to ministerial school in my head. What we teach here is that this is a spiritual universe that we live in, and that we are energetic beings, and what we put out, we get back. What we put out, we get back. That the universe is always responding, always communicating with us, always showing us what is ours to do and grow and all of that. So that is what we teach here. And we teach that as we shift our thinking, as we shift what we are putting out, what we put out into the world are our thoughts, our words, our actions, our choices. When we up-level those, our lives get better. We want everything out there to change. When everything out there changes, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be peaceful. No, you have to do that first and then watch your life change a little bit as it goes.